Hello, Janice.
Hello, Anthony.
Today we're going to discuss how IRS processing delays are slowing down probate. Probate is already a very slow process, and recent IRS processing delays are making probate even slower. Most probate cases, we have to receive an IRS tax clearance before we can close the estate. Otherwise, the executor and even the heirs are potentially at risk of having lingering tax problems and getting hit with unexpected tax bills later. Anytime we have an estate that's taking a bit of time to close because of IRS, and I tell the heirs, okay, we can try to close it now, but then are you okay with the IRS coming after you later? They're like, no, take your time.
Right.
Whatever you need to close the estate properly,
no one wants the IRS.
Waiting. Nobody wants the IRS after them. And we're about to discuss why the IRS is such a bear to deal with.
Yeah.
So the taxpayer advocate, that's a government entity whose job I believe is to sort of oversee and review the performance of the IRS, has recently produced their annual report, and we're going to have a link for that in the show notes. And they break down the extent of these IRS delays and also it kind of explains why we can't get any answers when we try to contact them. And then lastly, we kind of talk about what to expect in this upcoming year. So Janice, we are in the frustrating position where we're telling a lot of our clients sort of over and over again, we are waiting for the IRS, we're waiting for the IRS. And we thought, do you agree this is a good idea to put this episode together to make sure they understand, like, we're not just saying this, there's like data behind this.
Yes, absolutely. No, I feel like we've been saying this repeatedly for the past year at nauseum every time with almost all of the estates that we're waiting on.
Yeah, we're super frustrated as well. Again, we offer all of our clients, hey, if you want to just try to close the estate and have this potential tax risk lingering over you, there may be a way to do that. And I think every single one has said, no thanks.
No, I don't think there's been anywhere someone wants to take that risk and have the IRS come after them.
So first, let's talk about, is the IRS actually having processing delays? Is this just a figment of our imagination? Is it just a normal level of delays, or is it something special? It's pretty special. We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So are they having delays? That's major understatement. Yeah. So from the Taxpayer Advocates Report, here's a couple of quotes. At the close of the 2021 filing season, the IRS had 35 million returns awaiting processing. 35 million returns. That's a bit of a backlog. Would you agree?
Yeah. So that's from December, right? So all that's coming over now into tax season that just started.
And so they talk about that next. They talk about as they begin to prepare for the 2022 tax filing season, what we have, starting right now, they're poised to carry over millions of those on-process returns, as well as millions of taxpayer correspondence. That we'll get into that next about how we try to get in touch with the IRS. And this is going to result in even longer delays for taxpayers who have already been patiently waiting for far too long. Again, quote from the Taxpayer Advocate. I want to make sure that I quote this verbatim because it's from the Advocate's report. Taxpayers who have filed their tax returns continue to wait and wait and wait for any update from the IRS. The wait and wait and wait, that's not me. That's that's from the official report.
Wow. Okay.
There's definitely processing delays. That's sort of now documented without question. And Janice, would you agree that this matches our experience?
Oh, without a doubt. Verbatim, wait and wait and wait. Yeah.
It can be months before we get. Sometimes what we do is when we file something or send something to the IRS, and this is how we've done it in the past, and it's never been a problem before, but we enclose a copy of the letter that we're sending them, and we say, please just stamp this as received and send it back to us in the prepaid postage, addressed envelope we included. So all they have to do is stamp, put it in an envelope, and throw it into outgoing mail.
Yep, which they've been doing for years and years.
Yeah, we would typically get it maybe a couple of weeks after we send in that correspondence. At least we know they got it.
Right.
We don't get those for months now. That sort of acknowledgement of receipt.
Not just months, but like 6 months. Months and months.
So that means they haven't even looked at it for upwards of many, many months.
They just opened the envelope, stamped it, and put it in a pile. Right.
Yeah, that's to put it in the pile, not even to actually
you're just going into the pile. You're not even moving. Exactly. Right.
And then even when we do get a response, it's really, really frequent these days that it's a punt.
Right.
And what I mean by a punt is you get a letter finally, like, oh, there's an actual correspondence, and it says, we have received your your filing or your correspondence, and you will hear from us, and they usually give a date, like 6 months.
Right.
Sometimes the one case they gave us the next October in November, so they gave us a year out. They said we'll get you in about a year. So there's that.
There's that, and then you'll likely get another letter. It's like we were getting some that said 6 months out, remember? And then we'd get a letter after that said, well, no, we're just kidding, need another 6 months. Yeah.
And then, it's just drawing on our experience one more time. And then what'll often happen is, or at least once recently, is after the 6 months of waiting and another 6 months of, getting extended, we finally get a response, and the response is incorrect. Like the IRS says, oh, you forgot to file this, when we totally filed that.
Yes.
And they say, and we respond and say, hey, you have that. See, here's a copy of what we sent you. It's exactly, we have exactly what you said we were missing. Guess what? Clock starts all over again.
Yep. And they had it because we scan everything. We keep very good records. Yeah. We know what we sent. Yeah.
So if we're unlucky and we get one of those situations, clock resets and you're back at square one, 6 months for them to take a look at it. So that's what we're dealing with. Okay. So does it sound like we're complaining too much? I hope not.
No. I think you know what? I honestly think at this point, even we feel bad that we keep having to say this to all of the estates, and you feel like you wish there was something we could do, right? But every time it's we're still waiting on the IRS, And
so then you might sometimes our clients wonder, okay, well, what's going on? Can we get a timeline? And so can I contact the IRS for a status update? Okay. You could try.
And if you get someone on the phone, keep them there because we'd like to talk to them. Yeah.
So so the Taxpayer Advocate has a sub-report specifically on telephone and in-person service. And the subtitle of his report is Taxpayers Face Significant Challenges Reaching IRS Representatives Due to Longstanding Deficiencies and Pandemic Complications. Yeah. I'm gonna pull a couple of specific quotes because I want to give the exact data as compiled by the Taxpayer Advocate. In 2021, the IRS received 282 million phone calls. That's a lot. I thought that's more than even I expected.
Wow.
Sorry, that was not part of the quote. Customer service representatives only answered 11% of those calls.
Wow.
Now, end quote. I want to make sure that our clients understand that 11% is most likely the simplest of phone calls, meaning a 1040, which is the most common tax filing. We are mostly dealing with estates, which is sort of a one or two levels higher complexity. We don't get callbacks from standard customer service agents. We have to wait for our file to get to a higher level agent or even an IRS attorney.
Specialty, yeah.
So we're not getting 11% callbacks, believe me.
Wow. Oh, I didn't realize it was that low.
Yeah.
11%.
So even that low 11%, we're not getting that. Okay. Next quote from the Taxpayer Advocate's report, specific to an estate. A taxpayer was contacted by the IRS regarding her deceased mother's tax return and was told to call in. But she has been trying unsuccessfully for over a year to get through to the IRS. That is our experience.
Yes. That sums it up in one sentence.
Yeah, when it comes to deceased situations, it's just much tougher. Whether it's the IRS or even like banks, they're great at opening your checking account or helping you with an ATM issue. But when it comes to a deceased person's account, I need to call somebody. I don't really know how to do this,
Yeah.
So everything just takes a bit longer.
Wow. Yeah.
And then lastly, the IRS aims to respond to taxpayer correspondence in 45 days.
Sorry.
That would be great.
Yeah, sure.
As of January 1st, their turnaround time is nearly a year. That has been our experience. Yeah.
Yes. And that's their quote, not ours. Yeah. Nearly a year.
Yeah. So that's pretty much the TA's report is kind of matches what we've been seeing. Is that right, Janice?
Wow. I'm actually stunned on how accurate this is. It is.
All right, so finally, is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Will the IRS processing and communication improve in the upcoming year? Not likely.
That's a big hole to dig out of.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. So the IRS did not complete processing 2019 returns until summer of 2021. So that's a year and a half later. Yeah, almost 2 years later.
Yes. Yep.
So thus, the unprecedented processing and refund delays taxpayers experienced in 2021 could be as bad and potentially worse in 2022. So that doesn't sound very optimistic, yeah?
No.
Yeah, when you have what was the pile they have of unprocessed returns?
30. You said
35 million.
35 million. Wow.
You know what? For our clients, maybe you're at the top of that pile.
Maybe you're getting to the top of that pile.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what we're dealing with. Jokes aside, I mean, what can we do, you know?
No, I know I've said this to so many of our clients. Like, we are waiting along with you and we are frustrated along with you. Like, we wished we had better answers and had a magic wand, right? That could just put yours to the top of the pile. But unfortunately, we're all in the same boat. How many million? 35 million Americans are still sitting there waiting to have their returns processed. So, yeah.
Again, we have asked many of our clients, hey, do you want to just try to close the estate without tax clearance and bear that risk? No takers. So
nope, not at all.
That's what we're in. Yeah.
Exactly. If you want to learn more about that and how important that tax clearance is, you talk about this in your book, How Probate Works. We've also talked about it many other times on some of your podcasts and blogs, because it's obviously very important.
Well, wish this was a sunnier topic, but it is, I think. I'm glad we have this data from the Taxpayer Advocate to back up and help explain to our clients who are understandably frustrated. Like,
absolutely,
there are 35 million other folks frustrated right alongside with you. So, there we are.
Well, we'll keep waiting and hope it gets better.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have a good positive one in a couple of months that they fixed everything.
Sure.
Maybe. Glass is half full.
Well, thanks for listening. Hopefully this one was informative and helped ease some frustration. Thanks, Janice, as always. We'll talk soon next time.
Talk soon.
Bye now.